Is Trump's foe mapping Taiwan's deep seas for a future invasion as Chinese survey missions expand east of the island? China maps waters where submarines can hide, putting Taiwan's eastern approaches under closer scrutiny. Survey ships probe Taiwan's eastern flank, raising concerns that the island's last strategic sanctuary is being studied. Xi unlocks Taiwan's deep water playbook as Beijing gathers critical undersea data for future operations. Is China charting submarine routes and underwater battlespace conditions ahead of a Taiwan contingency? China completed a seabed survey east of Taiwan in a move that many observers viewed as carrying potential military significance. According to Chinese state media, the survey helped fill key gaps in Beijing's hydrographic and seabed data across the region. China's maritime authorities conducted the mission during a 5-day law enforcement operation in waters east of Taiwan. Multiple Chinese agencies took part in the operation, including the Coast Guard and maritime safety authorities. The survey marked China's first publicly known effort to map these waters in such extensive detail. The move extended Beijing's operational presence into a region long regarded as strategically sensitive by Taipei. The operation came as Japan and the Philippines advanced maritime boundary discussions in waters east of Taiwan. Zhu Songling said, and I quote, "This part of the sea was relatively peaceful before, and China hadn't really said anything or conducted normalized patrols. It's dangerous because it uses border talk to create legal documents. Then they will use the so-called joint management of maritime areas to establish facts on the ground. After that, they invoke freedom of navigation, maritime security, and collective defense to introduce a military presence. So, China's law enforcement advancing into waters east of Taiwan is to cut off that chain of effort by the US, Japan, and the Philippines." Unquote. Analysts said the survey provided China with a far more detailed understanding of the undersea terrain east of Taiwan. An expert told the South China Morning Post that such hydrographic data could support more effective submarine operations. Unlike the relatively shallow Taiwan Strait, these waters descend rapidly into the deeper Philippine Sea basin. Large sections of the area reach depths between 3,000 and 5,000 meters, giving the region significant military value. The information gathered could support future naval deployments, undersea surveillance missions, and force movement planning. Beijing deployed the Haishuan 08, its most advanced long-range survey vessel, to carry out the mission. The ship reportedly covered more than 1,000 nautical miles of strategically important waters during the operation. Taipei condemned the activities and described them as another attempt by Beijing to expand its control at sea. The developments come as Beijing continues to view Taiwan as part of China and has not ruled out the use of force for reunification. Taiwan carried out coastal drills for a second straight day on June 10, staging large-scale exercises against the backdrop of mounting tensions with China's military. In these drills, Taiwan fired its new mobile HIMARS rocket systems, explicitly simulating the kind of Chinese invasion scenario its defense forces train for every day. The US-supplied launchers demonstrated their shoot-and-scoot tactics, firing and then rapidly relocating in an effort to avoid simulated Chinese counterstrikes. It was also the first time Taiwan had fired HIMARS on its west coast, using positions around the Taichung region to practice defending the island's most exposed shoreline. Notably, a Taiwanese army officer admitted that 4 HIMARS rockets misfired during the drills, describing the technical glitches as part of combat realistic training.
During our firing just now, our first vehicle did experience a system malfunction. The crew of the first vehicle immediately followed our standard troubleshooting procedures to resolve the fault, and in our third firing salvo, fired the rounds that had not been launched. Just now, during the third salvo, the third vehicle also experienced a system malfunction and is currently undergoing troubleshooting. This is also part of our combat realistic training. After last year's equipment reception training, and following a year of combat realistic training, today we came to a combat position to conduct firing with a new weapon system. Our HIMARS, upon receiving the order, completed the task and arrived at position within 3 minutes. Given the current threat environment, we will continue to sharpen our training with even greater dedication, guarding our homeland with the most steadfast conviction, and defending our nation as our most powerful source of strength. This is the first time we have conducted combat realistic firing training on both the north and south banks of the Dajia River. This is different from before. Last year, when we had just received the HIMARS equipment, we conducted live fire test shots at the Jinping base. This year, for the first time, upon receiving orders, we rapidly maneuvered to our positions and conducted firing training at combat positions on both the south and north banks of the Dajia River. Our soldiers followed the guidance of their instructors and standard operating procedures to complete and execute various firing training subjects. We believe that before the media and the public, our HIMARS has demonstrated the ironclad combat power of our unit and successfully completed this training. Thank you.
Just a day earlier, on June 9th, Taiwan had already used its Thunderbolt 2000 multiple rocket system in another live-fire drill aimed at deterring Chinese forces. During that exercise, one Thunderbolt rocket reportedly failed to launch properly and appeared to break up, adding to concerns about reliability under stress. On June 9th, Taiwan's military simulated repelling a Chinese invasion during a major coastal live-fire exercise designed to test how its forces would respond to a large-scale amphibious assault. Taiwan fired rockets and artillery as part of the drill, modeling a scenario in which Chinese forces attempted to land troops on the island's coastline during an invasion operation. The exercise was aimed at testing rapid response combat readiness, with Taiwanese forces rehearsing how they would react under the pressure of a simulated Chinese attack. Taiwan staged the drill simultaneously across a 20-kilometer stretch of coastline facing mainland China, underscoring the strategic importance of the island's western shores in any future conflict.
What is different about this training compared with the past is that we are no longer conducting heavy artillery firing in a fixed, routine formation as before. We spread our formation this time according to command. The timing for entering positions this time was based on realistic combat conditions. So I believe this training posed a considerable level of difficulty for our troops.
Taiwan deployed its Thunderbolt 2000 multiple launch rocket system during a rare live-fire operational exercise, showcasing one of its key weapons designed to counter an invading force. The Thunderbolt 2000 carried out its first operational live-fire drill in 7 years, marking a significant return for the long-range rocket system in Taiwan's military training program. Taiwan has also been modernizing its defense training by introducing less predictable and more realistic combat scenarios, aiming to better prepare troops for the conditions they could face in an actual conflict.
The weather condition is rather unstable today compared to other days. Therefore, it took longer to do the inspection, including checking the artillery ignition device. This inspection method was developed based on accumulated experience where we could not ignite in the past.
Taiwan's military has shifted toward more realistic warfighting exercises, reflecting a broader effort to prepare its forces for the growing military threat posed by China. The drills tested Taiwan's mobile firepower capabilities in a simulated Chinese invasion scenario, focusing on how quickly units could deploy and engage advancing forces. Taiwanese troops also practiced preventing Chinese forces from establishing beachheads, a critical objective in any effort to stop an amphibious assault before it can gain momentum. Military officials said the new exercises were designed to mirror actual combat conditions more closely, placing troops in situations that resemble the challenges they could face during a real conflict.
This is different from our usual training conditions. Our current training grounds are mostly hard terrain, so transitioning to a beach with soft sand presented a different challenge. As a result, when setting up the artillery, we had to add an extra base plate for soft ground, which increased the deployment time. Nevertheless, through our routine training and accumulated experience, we were able to successfully complete the setup and overcome the challenges posed by the weather and environmental conditions.
China has continued to maintain military pressure around Taiwan through regular deployments of warships and military aircraft, even as the island carried out major live-fire exercises to strengthen its defenses. Taiwan reiterated its rejection of Beijing's sovereignty claims while simultaneously practicing how it would defend itself against a potential invasion or military assault from mainland China.